Good morning, everybody. Grace and peace to you from our Lord Jesus Christ and all the saints here in Central California, coming to you on the day before Thanksgiving. And if you're not from the U.S., you may wonder what Thanksgiving is all about. It's basically when the first settlers came here, they weren't doing too well. The Pilgrims were coming over from England and having a rough go of it that first winter. And the local indigenous population, the American Indians, took pity on them, which I'm sure they now regret, but took pity on those early settlers and showed them how to survive in the New England winters, um, planting, putting a fish in the hole where you plant your corn and things like that. So after the first winter, the first season, the harvest came in, and it was a huge harvest because of everything the Indians had taught. The American Indians had taught the settlers. So they had a feast to show their thanksgiving to God for preserving them through that harsh winter and time of famine. And they invited the local indigenous population, the American Indians, and they all had a big feast. And it was kind of held unofficially for many, many years. And then in the 1800s, sometime, one of the presidents, I can't remember who, declared it a national holiday because everybody was doing it anyway. So a day of thanksgiving to God for preserving everyone here, preserving the early Americans. But that's not why I made this video. I'm rambling. Um, so I'm here. Remember last week's video, I was talking about the wireless controller upgrade and then how you upgrade the APs. Well, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm upgrading the APs. And some of you asked, well, why don't you just upgrade them all at once and, let the APs all sorted out? That's very tempting, and I pretty much do that for the rest of the campus, but not for the main hospital, which is right over there. Um, I don't want to do that because, I mean, if I look right now in the emergency, what everybody calls the emergency room, we call it the emergency department. If I look over there in the trauma bay, there's like 20 clients on one AP. So that means that there's been a car accident and a victim's been transported, and there's a bunch of doctors and nurses and ambulance drivers and everybody's standing around in there, cops. So I don't really want to interrupt them right now with an AP upgrade. So I'll just watch the client count on that AP, and when it gets low enough, then I'll say, yeah, boom, go for it. And they'll roam to nearby APs anyway, but I don't want to have any disruption in what they're doing right now. So that's what I'm doing at the moment is I'm watching the status indicators on the AP listing over there. I'd show you this, but it's got IP addresses, it's got my controller address, and just too many bad people out there. So I'm sorry, can't show you that. Trust me, it's there. I'm looking right at it. Um, so what I was going to talk about was one of the facets of my job is I'm on call. I've talked about on call before, but it's been a while. I split on-call duties between me and Leo, who sits right over there behind that glass door. He's not in yet. So we alternate week by week doing on-call. And I got two calls this past weekend. The first call wasn't even a call. So that's the thing. In our departmental policies and procedures, it states that if the help desk can't resolve an issue, then they are to call the after hours infrastructure on-call support if it's something they need the infrastructure teams help with. Usually it's a server issue, and I'm not a server guy, so I always struggle with these calls. Um, and this one was no exception. So what was it? I want to say it was Saturday. Yeah, it was a Saturday morning. 5:30 in the morning, I hear a text going off on my phone. Like, oh man, who's texting me at 5:30 in the morning? And I shouldn't be. Well, no, that's true. I would be hearing it, but no, I shouldn't have been hearing that. I have do not disturb on my phone from like 10 o'clock at night until I think 6 o'clock the next morning. So I'm not even sure why I was hearing those texts. Um, anyway, I heard a text, and then I heard another text, and then I heard another text. I'm going to ignore it. Now, finally, about 6 a.m., I get up because it's like, all right, I'm awake anyway. So I get up and I look at the phone. Who was texting me? And it was the new help desk guy. And we're not required to return texts or listen for texts at night. I have a supervisor who thinks that we should, but no, we're not required to. Um, so, so I'm like, okay, I'm reading this text message. He's basically saying there's a vendor trying to get to a server. They have, I forget what the name of the software is, but it's a remote assistance software that they run on their servers that allows them to get in and take care of their servers without us having to set up a remote access account for them or anything. So they take care of their own stuff. Well, he couldn't get in and work on that server. So he needed my assistance. And so they gave me the name of the server and all that and the guy's number. And I was already a little torqued that the guy didn't even call and somewhat concerned that maybe I just didn't hear the phone ring. But then when I looked at the phone number, it was his mobile phone. Now I have, anytime the hospital calls from any help desk number, it all comes from one single number. And I have that number set up to break through my do not disturb. So if it's middle of the night and I'm on do not disturb, so I don't hear my family texting each other at all hours in our family text group, I don't want to hear that at night. I want to sleep. But the help desk will break through if they call. It'll ring. If my family calls, it won't ring. But help desk extended family, okay? If my wife calls, I'll hear it. The It should break through and it should wake me up and I should be able to handle the call. So, but he didn't. He called from his mobile phone. So, all right, well, that explains his text message because in his text message, he said, what did he say? Let's hang on a second here. As I'm getting texts at the moment. Oh, look, it's Mia at Lazard trying to sell me something. Report junk. All right, where is it? There we go. Yeah, it's from a number I didn't recognize. Oh, yeah, Bob called. I don't know who Bob is. Could be anybody. Oh, it's a Secure Link is the name of the software. Regarding a Secure Link issue, he's unable to access the Avashare server. And then he gave me his callback number. Avashare is a product we use. We call them telesitters. Well, actually, I think the company calls them telesitters, but basically, if there's some high risk patients that need to be monitored, like maybe a suicide risk or a slip and fall risk, dementia patients, whatever, that need to be assigned someone to watch them at all times, they put these telesitters. They're basically like a camera on a pole, and they'll put it like right outside the door or in the room with them, just to monitor the patient, make sure they don't try to get up and fall down on the floor or something or fall out of bed. They can monitor them, and so they can monitor like 10 or 20 rooms at a time with this thing. And if the monitoring nurse sees something that doesn't look right, then she can dispatch a nurse to that room to check on them. So anyway, that one server they were having issues with it, so they called it in. The guy was trying to get in and fix it, and he couldn't. So I called the guy back, and he explained what was going on. We end up having to set up a Zoom session basically between my mother-in-law's computer out in the living room because I had left my laptop here at work. Um, so I got on her computer, got into our new whiz-bang remote access gateway that doesn't require a Global Protect client anymore. It's really cool. I like it. Got into my work computer, which I'm talking to you on right now. From my work computer, I remote desktoped over to that server and then started a Zoom session from my mother-in-law's computer with this support guy over wherever he was. He's back on the East Coast somewhere. And so I just thought it was interesting how technology has changed. So Zoom session between us into my mother-in-law's computer, into my desktop computer, into the server out on the floor, out on the second floor of the hospital. So anyway, I he was poking around in it and I said, "Should we just reboot it?" It's like, "No, no, I want to check some things. I think we can get this working." And so he checked some things and nothing was working right. And then he says, "I think we should reboot it." I said, "Okay, if you think so." And so we rebooted it and then it started working right. And he said, "Well, that'll get him through the weekend, and then the day shift guys can take care of it on Monday." And I said, "I like that answer." I said, I just don't want to have to talk to you again this weekend, Bob." Actually ended up not being a guy named Bob because Bob had gone off shift by the time I called. It was some other guy. I don't remember who, but we were both eager to get off the phone at, that early on a Saturday morning. That was call number one. That was about 2 hours worth of my time on a Saturday morning. Um, oh, and then call number two um, came came in at the worst possible moment on a Sunday afternoon. I'm not going to tell you what was going on a Sunday afternoon, but I was not interested in getting a phone call at that moment. Um, and of course, right at that moment, a phone call comes in. It's afternoon weekend support help desk guy. He called from his desk phone, so my phone rang. Well, it was during the day. It would have rung anyway. So, so he calls me and says, "Hey, I can't get into Finesse." Okay, I don't really know much about Finesse. So I don't know if you know what Finesse is, but it's basically a call board system where they can monitor uh, call stats for when the help desk is called by end users and how long somebody's waiting on the phone, how many help desk analysts are available, metrics, statistics, all that stuff. Stuff the help desk supervisor cares about. And he says, "Well, I can't get into Finesse." But okay, so what does is there a server it talks to or something? Because I'm sorry, I don't know anything about Finesse. I don't know what to tell you. And he says, "Well, it is giving me an error message." Well, that would be helpful. So he gave me the error message, and it was pointing to a server, and it was a server that didn't resolve in DNS, of course. I said, "Well, is there an IP address associated with that error message?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah. Okay, can I have that, please?" So he gives me the IP address. I can't ping it. Okay, well, that's a problem. All right, I'll call you back. So then I use that same remote portal software, get into my desktop computer right here, and then I start crank up vSphere and I start looking for that server name and that IP address. And luckily it was in there under the server name that he was giving me. I looked at it. It's powered off. Okay, that's odd. I wonder why this is powered off. It's obviously in use and needed. I don't touch vSphere or servers ever, so I did not power it off. Which later my supervisor wasn't interested in any of that. He just wanted monitoring setup, and that's all. He didn't care about any backstory. Like, okay. Anyway, like you guys are getting. So I don't know why it was powered down, and I don't know what other servers are involved. So I just powered that one back up. And almost immediately, I get a call back. He calls me back and he says, "Oh, never mind, I fixed it." Really? What'd you do? He says, "Well, I don't know. I just kind of messed around with stuff and it started working." Well, and when I say almost immediately, I had time to send him an email saying, "Yeah, I found the server was powered down. I powered it back up. Can you please try again?" Well, he called back before he had read the email and thought he fixed it. And I said, "Oh, okay. Did you read the email I sent?" He goes, "No." And he goes, "Oh, I guess you fixed it." Yeah, well, powering it up fixed it. Man, we'll just call it a team effort. How about that? Okay, we'll call it a team effort. So anyway, and the end of that story is that Monday or Tuesday. This is a VoIP server, by the way, voice over IP, one of our voice servers, and the VoIP guy from downtown called and said, "Hey, why was that server powered down?" We don't know. So he was asking me to set up monitoring, so I did. I don't monitor servers. I'm not the server guy. I don't care. But since I am the guy that runs Intermapper, they, had me do it. Okay, I'll do it. I'm not gonna. I don't know when servers come up or down or change. So when I say come up, when we have new servers brought on or old servers decommissioned, nobody tells me. So it doesn't. It never gets updated. The server guy's supposed to do it, but he doesn't. You have to tell him to do everything. Oh, anyway, so there were apparently a bunch of servers that weren't running, so he wanted them all started up. So those two, they got all the servers started up that he wanted. It's funny, a day later, the same server that I started up, he said, "Okay, I want to decommission this server. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this one down and put these two in its place." And then he had me add monitoring for those two new servers. And nobody ever fessed up to who shut the servers down, but I think I know. I think they were messing around on the weekend, the guys from downtown, and shut it down thinking they had already set up everything for the new servers, except all the finesse clients which log into the servers and check for stats. So they forgot to set that part up when they shut the servers down. So I think we know how the server got shut down now. So anyway, after going for how long? Oh, geez. One, no, one, two, three, four. Well, 4 weeks, a month of not getting calls. I got 2 calls this last weekend, so at least I enjoyed the month of no calls, month of peace and quiet. So anyway, that's my long rambling on-call story. I'm still updating APs here, so I'll continue watching that. And that's all I got this week, guys. If you like what you saw, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell. I know it wasn't much, but this is a short week. I'm only working 3 days this week, and Thanksgiving's tomorrow, and we're all in holiday mode already here. So give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down. Leave a comment if you have questions or suggestions or prayer requests. I do pray every day, so more than one time a day. Let me know if you have any. And as always, God bless. We'll see y'all next week. Where is it? Okay, let's stop recording.